Oh, hey, I'm the Shogun, and let me just start off by saying I love fighting games.
There's just something I find so satisfying about them, and it's one of those weird genres where watching people play can almost be as fun as playing the game itself. However, there's something that's always bugged me about these games. It's boss battles. Sure, people don't tend to play fighting games for their story, and therefore a boss battle isn't as important as it would be in other games, but I don't know why developers have a tendency of including the hardest, most unfair boss battles of almost any genre. Now remember, this is all opinionated, so if you don't see a boss you think should be on here, then I either didn't think they were that tough, or simply haven't played the game where they were a boss.
So I'm here to bring you the worst of the worst. This is the top 10 hardest boss battles in fighting games. Enjoy.
Finally, my boy, you have succumbed to the power.
Nancy MI847J from Tekken 6. I know what some of you are asking. Why did I choose Nancy over Azazel? Well, while Azazel is an extremely cheap and frustrating boss, he is very beatable. Also, unlike Nancy, you get multiple attempts to beat him. Nancy, however, is a boss battle, and win or lose you are forced to continue the game. This means that if you lose, you have to restart arcade mode again and win another 6 matches just to get another pop at him. For a while, he just allows you to attack him, and if you know your character's moves quite well, you can take off a fair chunk of his health. But when he does attack you, he has a choice of high damaging attacks to bring your health down, including and a one-touch kill. Luckily, the majority of his moves are easy to dodge, so you should be able to beat him after a couple of attempts. Canha from Eternal Fighter Zero. This is another boss where you really need to know what you're doing. Canha is heavily equipped with full screen supers, a projectile attack that takes almost no frames to get to you, great defense, and she takes forever to beat. This boss really tests your patience because you just can't afford to run up to her, as much as you really want to give her a bitch slap. A lot of people consider Seth a cheap boss, and I agree with them, but except for his attack and defense being increased, he's not really too hard. In fact, if you can control your space, he's pretty easy. If you really want a boss who is insanely cheap and teleports a lot, look no further than Alpha 152. Dear God, she is hard to beat. It is a she, isn't it? As mentioned before, she has a very fast teleport. This coupled with her damaging combos and powerful normal attacks make Alpha infuriating to fight, and that's not including her grabs. Gill from Street Fighter 3. Oh, we're really in the shit now. Gill has everything a cheap boss could ask for. High durability projectiles, a full screen super, and he can even parry your attacks. Even if you do whittle his health down to 0, he can use resurrection and regenerate all of his health, unless of course you stop him. Akuma has been a boss in so many games it was difficult for me to choose his hardest incarnation. Despite this, I simply couldn't look past Shin Akuma from Capcom vs SNK 2. After being defeated, Rugal gives Akuma his dark power, thus giving birth to one of the cheapest bosses in gaming history. Shin Akuma is basically regular Akuma, but with much more attack and defense. Seriously, if you get hit even once, you can say goodbye to a lot of health. And trust me, the AI knows how to use every attack in Akuma's arsenal. This includes his Raging Demon, which for the most part is an instant kill attack. Thankfully, you get a choice of brews before you even start playing the game. Therefore, you can have up to 3 characters to try and beat him with. Anyone else who has played Fatal Fury knew this boss would make it on here. Geese is snaggy powerful. To start with, he has an incredible amount of priority when it comes to trading blows, although why you'd want to trade blows with him is completely beyond me. His projectiles do a lot of damage, even when blocked. This means you have to approach him. Unfortunately, he's not only powerful at long range, but a monster at close range. Fuck. Night Terror is cheap, no doubt about it. Yes, he does a staggering amount of damage every time he hits you, but there's only one real reason why he's on this list. He can't be ringed out. Seriously, that's one of your only things you could have hoped to use against him, and you can't do it. Thankfully, he takes pretty normal damage. But still, he's an asshole. Just breaking into the top 3 is Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat 9. Okay, so the first time you meet him, he's not too difficult, and granted, his arcade mode incarnation isn't too difficult either. But when you face him in the final battle of Mortal Kombat story mode, then you're in for a tough battle. Kahn has so much to his disposal that it's difficult to do anything against him. He has 2 types of projectiles, an energy spear and his hammer, the latter of which will stun you and allow him to get another free hit. Your chances of winning up close aren't any better either. His attacks are invincible, and to make matters worse, he has twice as much health as you. Therefore, combos are much less effective. You're also forced to use Raiden, and if you're unfamiliar with his moveset, then this can be an even bigger disadvantage. Shao Kahn has only one obvious weakness. He taunts. That's it. That's his only weakness. Luckily, Raiden has a teleport, so getting close to him isn't really a problem. And Raiden's electric fly can be pretty useful as long as you use it right. But still, Shao Kahn is one of the hardest bosses to ever appear in a fighting game. I know from Guilty Gear XX. Where do I even get started? She blocks all the time, does a large amount of damage if she hits you, and if you get trapped in one of her special moves, you may as well give up. I know it's considered by many who have played Guilty Gear the cheapest boss of all time. Unfortunately, I think I found something worse. Maga Key from King of Fighters 11. To me, there is no redeeming qualities about this battle. This is without doubt the hardest, cheapest, most infuriating final boss to ever be put in a fighting game. He's almost impossible to approach, and even if you do get close, he will just bitch slap you away and you're back to square one. You'd think having 3 characters would make this boss battle easier, but no. Even if you do get a couple of lucky shots before your first character goes down, he will just regenerate that health.
And that was my list of the top 10 hardest boss battles in fighting games. I hope you enjoyed it. Now if you don't mind, I've got some ass to kick.